Hi, grade 7-8s. This is our last week of studying Edo Japan before we move into the Meiji period. So we are focusing this week on how being isolated affected Japan's economy. So whenever anyone asks what economy means, I always kind of try to tell them to remember it's like money. So how did isolation affect the way that people traded, made money, made and sold goods, services? Were there big economic centers where lots of money was made or lots of trade happened? And so for this week, your only assignment is to complete these slides. For those of you that do them online, you just make a copy and you can highlight and fill it in online. What I've asked you guys to do is I've done a lot of the notes for you. I need you to read and highlight them. So don't just skip them. And then I've asked you guys a couple questions. The whole point isn't to answer in like one or two sentences, but to critically think about the question. So don't just say, I don't know, let's say the question is like, why was this a good city to live in? Because it's by the mountains. Okay, but what about living by the mountains makes it a good city? So make sure you're answering in a couple sentences and explaining your answers. There is more information on pages 146 to 156 of your textbook if you need it. So it's going to go through Edo Japan and its economy. I'm going to ask you a couple things about geography. So why might it be hard to travel during the Edo period? There's actually only 5 main roads in Japan at this time that lead to Edo, or lead to, the cities. And so one of my questions is why? Why is there only 5 main roads that people can take? We talk a little about castle towns. We compare some castle towns in other parts of the world. Then I get you guys to compare a couple of maps. And then we talk about the 3 main cities. So Edo, Osaka, and Kyoto were the 3 major cities at this time. And then actually what I want to talk to you guys about, because this part you guys will be able to do kind of fairly easily, is then at the very end, you guys are going to talk about popular culture in Japan. So popular culture are like exactly what it sounds like. Things that are really popular amongst people. It's not usually like the elite, like the really rich. It's kind of popular among like the masses. So you're going to talk a little bit about things that were popular in Edo, Japan. And then I asked you guys to kind of, one of the things that was very popular at the time was poetry, and actually haikus were created at that time. So what I asked you guys to do is write me a haiku. I wrote a haiku for you. It can be silly, it can be funny, it can be about nature, which lots of haikus are. And I've just explained the breakdown. So remember, haikus have 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. So the word like school is 2 syllables. So my haiku that I wrote to the 7/8 is, a haiku for you, all about Edo, Japan. I ran out of room. Okay, not so hard. Doesn't have to be good. And then I want you guys to talk about popular culture today. So I've listed kind of 2 things that are popular culture right now. So like TikTok videos, 2 or 3 months. I don't know how long TikTok's been out, but it wasn't like last year we were really talking about TikTok. And so things that are like popular and happening right now. And then I listed Apple AirPods because those have kind of become like a fad that everybody wants or lots of people have. So it can be like books. A couple years ago when, or even now, Harry Potter is an example of like popular culture. But when the books first came out, it really wasn't that popular. There are a few people read them, and then the culture around the books grew. So it can be things like movies, books, fashion, accessories, technology, that kind of thing. All are considered popular culture. So I ask you guys to list 3 more things that you would consider popular culture. And then on the very last page, you're going to do some research about popular culture in Japan today. Popular culture in Japan is super fascinating. It's like I'll get to give you guys an example. You can't use this one. Are these things called cat cafes. And so because so many people live in crowded areas, Japan's small, there's lots of areas, lots of people, and overcrowding, landlords actually won't allow cats in a lot of places. So people go to these cafes, and then there's like cats there for them to hang out with in these cat cafes. So that would be an example. I would research that. And then on this last page, I would explain what it is and why it's popular and give a couple facts about it. So that's what you guys are doing on your last page. And that is it. Next week, we'll move out of the Edo period and into the Meiji period. All right. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Send me an email or a text message. Talk to you soon.